you can be born in England and be from another ethnicity, such as Rishi Sunak, who is of the Hindu Indian ethnicity, but you can still have citizenship. Therefore, he can be British. He can never be English. His parents are not English. His ethnicity is not English. His ancestry is not English. It's not even about skin color.
Breaking right now, leftist outrage over the Triggernometry interview with Fraser Nelson, where Konstantin Kisin made it clear he doesn't believe that Rishi Sunak is English. Let me just show you a reminder of that exchange.
Definition, right? I would say that Rishi Sunak is as English as Tizer and Wyferns, right? He is absolutely English. He was born and bred here. And I wouldn't say that the colour of his skin makes him any
He's
less.
a brown Hindu. How is he English?
Because he's born and bred here.
So by being born here, you become English, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah, says Fraser Nelson. But all of a sudden gets a little bit confused when Konstantin quite rightly points out, okay, what if as an English person you're born in Japan? Does that make you Japanese? But you can imagine the leftist mob on this. Sangeeta Miska, the sacked LBC presenter. He's a brown Hindu. How can he be English? Protests Konstantin Kisin while debating Southampton-born, Winchester-educated Rishi Sunak's identity. Well, for a start, race and nationality are not the same thing. Owen Jones wrote, reducing Englishness to genetics isn't just sinister, it's meaningless. In practice, varying combinations of class, education, religion, and social and political values are more salient than DNA when it comes to shared identities. Rory Stewart, who used to be a conservative, the far right, now wants to strip citizenship from and expel non-white citizens from their countries. Much of the AFD, which JD Vance and Elon Musk back, favour it. And the chat is starting in Britain too. Ava Santina, I'm trying to write notes on this for tomorrow's podcast and my mind is totally blank. This is so inconceivably stupid. It genuinely frightens me. And the Mail's Dan Hodges, I think when we've reached the point people feel it's okay to publicly declare Rishi Sunak isn't English because of the colour of his skin, we all need to pause and reflect. A debate about cultures is fine. This isn't fine. But in response to Dan Hodges, Father Calvin Robinson wrote, Rishi Sunak is not English. He may be a British citizen, but his ethnicity is Indian. This stuff is not complicated. So, Father Calvin Robinson, justify yourself, given Dan Hodges says that it's not even fine to have this debate, Calvin. We cannot even be debating this question, okay?
I'm struggling with this. Either these people are being dishonest or they're obtuse. Like, it's really, really not that complicated. Ethnicity and nationality are not the same thing, right? So my ethnicity, I am half English because my mother is English. I am half Afro-Caribbean because my father's side of the family are from Jamaica. Now, that's my ethnicity. My nationality is British. My passport says GBR, right? So no one, when people like Roy Stewart say they're trying to strip away his nationality, like, no one's saying that Rishi Sunak isn't a British citizen. Of course he is. I think he's got dual citizenship, or at least he did do at some point. He's got more than one citizenship, but he's not English. And his citizenship is not English. No one has an English citizenship. And so either they're confused or they're lying, right? So let's go through this. England is a country. English is an ethnicity, and the one comes after the other. Great Britain is an island. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is a kingdom made up of England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales, right? And British citizens, formerly called British subjects, are the people who live within those isles who hold a GBR passport. It's as simple as that. So you can be born in England and be from another ethnicity, such as Rishi Sunak, who is of the Hindu Indian ethnicity, but you can still have citizenship. Therefore, he can be British. He can never be English. His parents are not English. His ethnicity is not English. His ancestry is not English. It's not even about skin color. And I've argued with the far right on this. I had a debate with Steve Laws about this the other day. It's not just about skin color. Skin color, of course, plays a part in it, in that the English ethnicity is white, but English because you're white. That's a happenstance of it. English people happen to be white. But it's not even just a DNA thing either. It's not, okay, let me test my DNA and see what percentage of it is. It's broader than that, but it's not that complicated. To be born in England doesn't make you English, but to be born in Britain and hold a British passport can make you British. To have English ancestry, English ethnicity makes you English. I hope that helped.
Well, of course. And the thing is, I feel quite personally about this one, Father Calvin, because the left will often use this particular topic to try and deride people from the right. And they often do it with me by claiming completely factually inaccurately that I am an immigrant here. Now, it's factually incorrect for a whole load of reasons, okay? Because number one, my mother was born in Essex. My dad, all of his family are from South Shields, but he was born on a British Army base in Malta before emigrating to New Zealand. So I was born in New Zealand as an English citizen, and it runs through my blood in every possible way. The culture, my upbringing with my grandparents, 3 out of the 4 of them who fought for England in World War II. But what I find so fascinating, Calvin, is they will happily use that claim of you're an immigrant for me, but you just know that if I happen to be from an African country, they would never, ever even think about saying it. But first, you know how often I talk about the need for free speech to be protected online. This really matters. So I've been thinking a lot lately about the need for personal protection from snoopers, bad actors, and hackers online. But the great news is I have found a fail-safe solution. And what's more, this VPN, otherwise known as a virtual private network, is a life changer when it comes to providing you entertainment and information from anywhere in the world. So let me introduce and tell you about Surfshark. It is an incredible and easy to use service that encrypts all your internet traffic, meaning your online activities stay safe so you can shop, stream, browse, and conduct your banking online in complete privacy. But actually, the benefits of Surfshark go way beyond keeping you safe online. It also allows you to access your favorite entertainment and news shows and channels, including streaming services like Hulu, iPlayer, HBO Max, and Peacock, no matter where you are. Or if you have a favorite show, this happens to me a lot, that happens to be blocked on Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Disney Plus, within seconds, you can be watching as if you are in another country. If you're traveling for work or on holiday, you can also get all your favorite content from home, including sports. Plus, Surfshark acts as an insurance policy, given there is creeping censorship in lots of countries, especially throughout Europe, like France, which has blocked Rumble for many months now. So effectively, Surfshark allows you to watch anything, anytime, anywhere. It is true freedom. Check this out though too. A VPN like Surfshark can save you money, because do you know that a whole load of websites, especially travel ones, change their prices depending on where you're buying from? See how you can get around that by using Surfshark. By the way, you can use Surfshark on unlimited devices, which means your entire household can stay safe with just one subscription. There are over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries worldwide, meaning there is a whole load of choice at your fingertips. And by the way, don't worry if this is your first time using a VPN. There is 24/7 customer service available to you. Go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. What's more, Surfshark's so confident that it's the best VPN in the world, it will give you a try for a full 30 days. And if you're not entirely satisfied, full money back. So let me repeat the address: surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, you can just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show.
That's fascinating. It's almost like an anti-white racism that we're seeing, isn't it? Like you genuinely have English ethnicity, you have English ancestry, you have the roots, you have the heritage, you have the skin color, and you have the DNA. And so for them to just assume that you have no Englishness just because you've been raised in New Zealand suggests that well, it's because of your skin color that they don't like you. Because if someone comes over here that happens to be brown, whether Asian or African, and we've seen this, for example, with Kemi Badenoch, with Rishi Sunak, it's a different story entirely. So I suppose they need to get over their racism. I was assuming at the start that either they were being dishonest or obtuse, that they're either lying or confused. But actually, I think it may be that they're just racist.
Indeed, completely. It's what I guess we would describe as reverse racism, but it is absolutely something that is used. I mean, Albion Ancona, for example, friend of mine, I know not a friend of yours, but he runs an organization called Conservatives Against Racism. I've had this debate with him many times because I feel it's racist when he tries to say I'm not English. I mean, how can you say that someone who is born to English parents, who had grandparents who fought in World War II, all of my heritage is English? How on earth can you say I'm not English because I was born in another country? It is the height of insanity. Now, I agree with you that this isn't about skin color, but it is always the left that make it about skin color because they are very, very happy to accept if you're a brown person, if you're an Asian person, if you're a black person, that the normal rules don't apply to someone who is white. Of course, these issues are complicated, by the way. I'm not for a single second trying to say, Father Calvin, they're not, because yes, the fact I am born in New Zealand, a nation largely of immigrants, barring the indigenous Maori population, of course, I have a connection to that country. I feel that my dual citizenship is absolutely the right thing for me to have legally. I have a British passport, I have a New Zealand passport. These aren't like American rules where you have to give up one to gain the other. So I appreciate none of these things are simple. I do feel a great deal of patriotism towards New Zealand. But if I went to New Zealand and started saying that I was indigenous to New Zealand, let me tell you, I would be very, very quickly derided as racist by the Maori population. So again, proof that there's a complete double standard on this issue.
Well, there's another element to this as well, isn't there? That every time someone says, well, he's ethnically Indian, the liberal, metropolitan elite, middle class, upper middle class white people say, no, he's not. Of course he's not. Like, as if there's something wrong with being ethnically Indian. What is their issue with the Indian people? That's a question we need to ask as well. I mean, he's quite proud to be Indian. He talks about it all the time. He talks about his Hindu heritage and his Indian heritage all the time. He clearly says, I am Indian. And so for these metropolitan liberal elites to say, no, it's not Indian, it's almost as if they don't want him to be because they look down upon Indians.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really interesting question. I think the problem is, Father Calvin, is what we always get in these circumstances, and it's happened with Triggernometry, is an attack on the people who are prepared to have this conversation. I watched the entire episode of Triggernometry with Fraser Nelson and Konstantin Kisin because I know that sometimes these clips can be taken out of context, but this was a soft interview, right? This was not an attempt by Konstantin and Francis to play gotcha in any way with Fraser Nelson to embarrass him. Konstantin was genuinely being intellectually curious about how on earth Fraser Nelson could justify his position.
Oh yeah, so this is when they're in their element. I'm friends with Francis. I think he's a great man, and as for Konstantin, he's best when he's asking questions. This is the role he plays very well. He just asks the questions and lets people come up with their conclusions. That's good. When he's pontificating, pretending he's the smartest man in the room, it becomes problematic. You must really agree with what I say on Ukraine, otherwise you're dumb. That doesn't work. But when he's asking questions, he's amazing at what he does. And in this podcast, he sat there asking questions, probing, and Fraser Nelson revealed himself to be a massive liberal with weird opinions on what it means to be English and what it means to be British, and conflating the two. And all the people who are supporting him are doing the very same thing. It's absurd.
Of course. And, you know, if you want to be with the Dan Hodges of this world, even having the debate is dangerous. Free speech is dangerous. That's what they think. That's why the independent media is so important, because Triggernometry will allow that type of conversation to take place. The mainstream media will not. And by the way, when will they learn? When will they learn that censoring a conversation doesn't stop it from happening? If anything, it makes the drumbeat even louder. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.